first agenda. This will be the first one.
Yes. No. The first meeting is just the public hearing. ABC. Yes, right here. Ready.
I know, we're gonna be nervous behavior.
We tell, we're not sitting. We have to record. Okie dokie pokey. You've been good. I mean, busy. Busy and good and not shitty. What about Cindy? She was, right? When I talked to my doctor. They're at the
You were freezing up. And I decided to leave it.
Everybody ready? I did hear. Yeah, you're lost. It happens to the best of us.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated.
Yeah. Oh, yes. There you go.
Here's just the public.
I thought it was just gonna be. Joey's here. Can you, who's with him, Mark or George? I think it's Mark.
Your call has been forwarded.
Let's see, Mark. Yeah, I am, because I'm gonna YouTube one. Oh, okay. I'll do it at the end.
Hello, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Okay, I'm connected now, right?
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Lupita Cepeda, President of the Laredo College Board of Trustees. Today is August 24th, 2023. We are convening a public hearing on the proposed 2023 Laredo College property tax rate and the fiscal year 2024 budget. I will preside as chair of the hearing and now call roll. Mr. Delgado,
Lupita Cepeda,
present.
Jorge Delgado, present. Jackie Levin Ramos, absent. Erica Benavides Garcia,
Present.
Cindy Liendo,
Present.
Mercurio Martinez Jr.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Esteban Rangel, absent. Karina Elizondo, absent. And Tita Cantuvela.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. As background information for the public, the Laredo College Board of Trustees caused to be published on August the 9th, 2023. A notice of tonight's public hearing on the Laredo College proposed tax rate for year 2023 as required by Texas Tax Code Chapter 26. The Laredo College 2023 property tax rate is proposed to be set at 0.267675 per $100 valuation of taxable property, of which 0.220895 shall be for maintenance and operations and 0.046780 shall be for debt retirement. If the Board of Trustees approves the proposed tax rate, this tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will be effectively raised by 5.61%. Our public hearing today allows the proponents and opponents of the 2023 proposed property tax rate to present their views to the Board of Trustees. Further, this public hearing permits members of the public to voice their opinions about the fiscal year 2024 budget. Speakers who will present remarks on the fiscal year 2024 budget shall confine their remarks to the appropriation of funds as contained in the proposed budget as required by Board of Trustees Policy CC Local. Are there any members of the public here today who wish to express their views regarding the proposed 2023 tax rate and the fiscal year 2024 budget? If so, please approach the podium one at a time. The board would allow each member of the public up to 3 minutes of time to present his or her views. According to Board of Trustees Policy CC Local, no officer or employee from the college is required to respond to questions from speakers. Please proceed to the podium. Do we have anyone? Since we don't have anyone, the Board of Trustees is scheduled to adopt the Laredo College 2023 tax rate and 2024 budget during the board's regular meeting, which immediately follows the conclusion of this public hearing. This concludes the Laredo College public hearing on the 2023 proposed property tax rate and fiscal year 2024 budget. I will now entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
So move, Madam Chair.
So I have a motion by Mr. Martinez. I have a second by Mr. Delgado. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. The final public hearing is now closed. We're now going to proceed to convene the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. So the time is 6:08, and we shall start our regular board meeting. Can I have Mr. Delgado say a prayer, and Mr. Martinez, can you do the Pledge of Allegiance? Can you all please rise?
Fairly well, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts. And we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our college events, and for all of our faculty, our staff, and most importantly, our students. We ask that you bless them abundantly as we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us the insight to lead with integrity so that our decisions may reflect what is right and what is good. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and all that we say. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Delgado, can you go ahead and roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Lupita Cepeda,
Present.
Jorge Delgado, present. Jackie Lemon Ramos, absent. Erica Benavides Garcia,
Present.
Cindy Liendo,
Present.
Mercurio Martinez Jr.,
Present.
thank you, sir. Esteban Rangel, absent. Karina Elizondo, absent. Tita Cantu Vela.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The next item is approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of June 1st, 2023, budget workshop of June 3rd, 2023, special board meeting of July 13th, 2023, and special board meeting of August the 3rd, 2023, and August 17th, 2023. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado.
Second.
Have a second by Ms. Liendo. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item we have is public testimony. Do we have anyone that signed up? The next item is number 5, recognitions, introduction of personnel and new personnel actions for the month. 5A is Joint Review Committee on Education and Radiologic Technology, JRCERT. Accreditation approval status, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tiguerina.
Good evening, board members, colleagues, Dr. Ramirez. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, for the record, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. It is with great honor that I stand before you to announce our two programs today that we received great news. I'll start first with the Joint Review Committee on Education and Radiologic Technology, better known as the JRCERT. It is the only agency recognized by the United States Department of Education and the Council for Higher Education Accreditation for the accreditation of traditional and distance delivery educational programs in radiography, radiation therapy, magnetic resonance, and medical dosimetry. Our program was evaluated by these standards for the accredited educational program in radiography, and I'm proud to say that they got an extension of accreditation for a period of 3 years that equates to an award of 8 years, which is a very good accreditation effective from the date of the most recent years that we got. And I want to commend with us today, they can stand and be recognized. Ms. Hortensia Gonzalez is the program director, who not only does radiology, but sonography. Jessica Rodriguez is our assistant professor. Alonso Laurel is our clinical coordinator and radiation safety officer. So we're very proud of their accomplishment. It is hard work to get accredited by these agencies that have really high standards. And definitely want to recognize Dr. Miller, who obviously is retiring, but she also played a part in this part of the accreditation. And also not with us, we did invite him, a retiree, Oscar Gomez, who actually helped transition Ms. Gonzalez, but couldn't be with us today. So in public, we also want to recognize, because although he's retired, he's still actively involved with helping us with consultations. So, so thank you to the group and congratulations again.
Congratulations, and can we take a picture?
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations, and thank you again for all your hard work. The next item is 5B, National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence, ASE, accreditation approval status for master automobile service technology. Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. Again, another program that we had complete evaluation results of the automobile technician training program at Laredo College South Campus. And we are pleased to inform you that our program met the strict industry standards required for the Master Automobile Service Technology Accreditation. It is one of the highest level of program accreditation recognized by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence, better known as ASE. So we're very proud of this team who basically attained the highest level of this accreditation agency. And with us today, of course, is Dean Hernandez, Workforce Education Dean, and then Frank Ramirez, Transportation Technology Department Chair, Mr. Roberto Garcia, Automotive Technology Instructor, Carlos Vela could not be with us today. And we also want to recognize Eduardo Mata, who's our lab assistant, who's with us today. So we certainly want to recognize them for their hard work.
Forward, please.
Thank you, and come forward for a picture, please. Congratulations again, and thank you for all your hard work. The next item is 5C, Imexol donation, Dr. Diane Y. Ortiz.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez, and members of the community and colleagues. My name for the record is Dr. Diana Ortiz, and I'm the Vice President of Institutional Advancement. Today, I'm going to share with you just some news that we have regarding a donor that has afforded the Export and Logistics Center some software that is going to help make how our students learn and work in the center just be more hands-on and understand the trade and logistics and distribution that's taking place in our center. The donor's name is Mr. Jorge Cavazos, and he is the owner who has donated Imexol, the software that is currently being installed in our labs for the center, and it's at the value of $23,000. So in the very near future, we're going to have Mr. Cavazos, along with some other donors that are bringing different tools to the center, and we will be recognizing them here in the future. I want to thank Mr. Heriberto Hernandez and of course the provost in helping facilitate this, and we just are really excited about this donation. We just wanted to make it known.
Thank you. Congratulations. They're not here, are they? Imexol. Oh, okay. Thank you. Next item is 5D, introduction of personnel action. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members. It is always exciting to welcome new employees and recognize some promotions within our college. And so as I call your name, if you'll please come to the front so that we can take a group picture at the end with the board of trustees that are here today. Brianda Enriquez, she's a new hire in the Workforce Education Engagement Office. She's a specialist. So if you'll join us. Ceci Macias, Faculty Secretary, Business Management, new hire as well. Dr. Alfonso J. Hinojosa, Engineering, Design, and Construction Management Technology Director. Roberto Sanchez, the Academic Advisor and Career Coach. Lourdes Valenciano, or Cristina, Director of Event Services. David McGinnis, Theatrical and Performing Arts Director. Dr. Gilberto Martinez Jr., Drama and Speech Instructor. Stephanie A. Sanchez, Faculty Secretary of Social Sciences. Jose Luis Solis Jr., better known as Joey, Logistics Distribution Management Instructor. Sorry, Joey. Ivan Cano, Director of Recreational and Esports. And a promotion today, Rosalinda Montemayor, Vocational Nursing Instructor and Program Director. So if you all will join us in the front, we'd like to take a group photo. Welcome to all of you to our Palomino family. And we're very excited that all of you have joined our team, and we know that all of you are going to do great things for our students and for our college. So thank you all for being here. It's an exciting group of people. I love it. There are 3 people that couldn't join us today, so I'd like to mention their names. Melissa S. Garcia, Faculty Secretary for Theatrical and Performing Arts. Ana Maria Gutierrez, Faculty Secretary for Allied Health. And Ana Lilia Salazar, Faculty Secretary for Emergency Medical Services at the South Campus. So those 3 individuals couldn't be here tonight, but we also welcome them to our Palomino family. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, and
you.
congratulations and welcome to Laredo College. I'd like to recognize Mrs. Jackie Levin Ramos that has just joined us from the board.
Thank you.
The next item is number 6, Faculty Senate Report, Ms. Juliana Kelly.
Hope you guys can see me. Good evening, everyone. Oh, okay. My presentation. Good evening, everyone, Board of Trustees, Madam President, community members, faculty members that are here present with us. My name is Mrs. Juliana Kelly. Call me Julie. I am an associate professor of biology. I am also the newly elected Faculty Senate President. So thank you for giving me this time. I'm going to be speaking today over a few statistics, and I'm going to be going over TASB's recommendations, very minimal, revisit the vision that Laredo College has, go over a few faculty achievements, and of course, the rationale for me being here, obviously our pay increase. So bear with me. I'm sure everybody read the 35-page report that TASB presented earlier this summer, but just as a visual here, you guys can see that everything has gone up in price. So what we have right here is what we call the Consumer Price Index. For those of you who are not familiar with it, this is where Americans are spending their money. Most of the money that we're spending, board president, is primarily on housing. Housing Laredo has one of the highest rates that we have here in the state of Texas. Second in line is going to be commodities. That includes oil, that includes energy, includes metals. And then of course, third in line is food, right? So again, the price of everything that we have here in the United States is increasing dramatically. This is taken from the U.S. Census Bureau, from the U.S. Labor of Statistics. Again, some more numbers here. 1,800 in the United States is the average cost of an unfurnished apartment. Electricity bills, we're looking at about 1,334. This summer, I received my bill. It was over $350. And this is for a family of 3. And we travel extensively where we're not home. So you can just imagine everybody else. Food, like I said, it's third in line. We're spending about $690 average per month in terms of the food cost. So we are seeing an increased inflation. Now, 2 main reasons for this CPI increase is inflation, of course, rising wages. Now, this is Laredo data. We have for a person on average about $1,500 in rent, not including utilities or other factors, HOA fees. A family of 4, we're looking at $3,800. Now, keep in mind that in Laredo, we have multi-generational families living in one household unit. So this is just the average. You can just imagine now families that have 2 parents, 2 children, grandparents, a sister, a brother, younger children, nephews, and nieces. So the price, of course, of living has increased dramatically. Now, this right here, I wanted to present this data here because you can literally go to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and see the price of everything that we use here in the United States. I wanted to pinpoint the spike right here. Is there a pointer? No pointer? Okay, so basically the blue right here, the little spike at the very end that's blue, these were the cost of eggs. Do you guys remember? Earlier this year in February, there was an avian flu where they killed over 58 million chickens. So therefore, the price of eggs increased dramatically. And everybody was looking for chickens to be able to, have eggs. But again, just so you can see that the price of food, bananas, bread has skyrocketed as well. Now, another few things here that I like to mention. Wages and salaries have increased according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Alamo College in San Antonio, just as an FYI, did increase 6.5 to their faculty and their employees, the staff. Austin Community College just recently also had an increase of 7.6. So again, just FYI for our faculty and employees. Now, TASB's recommendation is that we have a 3% salary increase across the board. What we do notice here at the college is that we do start our faculty at a high pay. This is previous data. So somebody who comes in at 0 years of experience starts with $48,000. However, what happens is that as we progress through the years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we don't seem to compete with the market median. So you can see from 48,000 to 5 years, we're at 50, but yet the market is at 51,000. At 20 years, they're still significantly higher than, of course, someone who's been here for 20 years. Now, they do have some recommendations. This is the same graph, just visual. Again, you can see 48,000 starting. But if you notice the orange line, that as we stay here 5, 10, 20 years, we are still below. Now, TASB is going to give us an adjustment for the faculty with master's degrees from 10 to 20 years. However, what I'm proposing and the faculty are proposing is something significantly higher than 3%. Now, you're probably wondering why, right? Why, Ms. Kelly? So Laredo College has a vision. We are saying that we are an institution of excellence. If we're going to be an institution of excellence, we need to have inspired faculty. We need to have high retention of our faculty. We need to be able to have these faculty to have leadership roles. We need to be able to enforce and align with our vision that we have here of excellence. So that is a major, major factor here that I'm stating to you guys. Then not only that, these are just some of the achievements that I brought with me. Graduations. We're having 3 graduations moving forward. We have a spring graduation, we have a summer graduation, and we're going to have also a Christmas graduation. So we are helping students succeed. We're helping students move beyond that level of high school. So that's, again, we're having a lot of graduations. Then the faculty also board, we're doing a lot of trainings. We're doing CTEL trainings. This is where we're having professional development on a monthly basis or sometimes twice a semester, where we're learning pedagogy, how to teach our students, how to work with them. Then we have the class, 3 hours a week, we're at the library and we're with students promoting success, whether it's tutoring, whether it's going to be on a personal level, having them make up assignments. I myself have taken my students bird watching here on campus. I gave a workshop on how the basics of birding. So again, we're doing all of this. And of course, also do enrollments. We're over 4,000 plus students that we're servicing in multiple counties. Grants, faculty are helping with grants. These are just two that I have. And a USDA grant for $275,000, and then a NASA grant for $300,000, where we're going to be taking our students to visit SpaceX. And then of course, we have many, many, many faculty that have distinguished accomplishments. For example, we have one of them here, Hortensia Gonzalez, Brenda Esquivel, Dr. Meng. These are NISOD winners. And then we also have School Bell Winner Awards, Graciela Gonzalez, Rene Montemayor, a Golden Apple nominee. And then of course, we have our most distinguished advisor, Laura Ramirez Cruz. She's a nominee for the Minnie Piper Award. Theta chapter has been here at Laredo College for 70 years. And it is a wonderful organization. They are helping our students tremendously. And these are just to name a few. I could go on and on and on about every single faculty that I've met. But again, this is just a few of them that I wanted to highlight. So what are the positive outcomes of a pay raise? Increased morale. You want your faculty to be here and to be in an environment where they are happy to come to school, where they're happy to be teaching our students. These faculty will stay here. They're going to be local members of the community. They're going to spend their money here in Laredo. It'll lead to a better reputation of the college. It's going to have people want to come to Laredo College. And of course, you keep them, right? We retain the employees because it costs the school to train us. You don't want them to leave. So we want to keep those faculty members that we've trained, that we've invested money in them. We want to keep them. We want to prevent them also from having a second or a third job, right? So again, all of these are positive outcomes. And what I'm asking for, and what the Faculty Senate Board is asking, is for a fair and equitable pay for all faculty, something that is higher than what TASB has recommended. So anything above 3% would be great. I know that it's a long shot. I wanted to aim for 5 to 10, but you guys will be the decision makers. But again, I think because of all these reasons, we should, have a decent increase. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Any questions?
Any questions, board? No. Thank you, Mrs. Kelly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
The next item is number 7, discussion and possible action. First one is 7A, fiscal year 2024 budget and 2023 property tax rate. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez, Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration for the record. Before we move forward with the adoption of the resolution, quickly just want to summarize the highlights of the 2024 proposed budget. For 2024, the proposed budget is $71,748,958. That is a $5.4 million increase from the current 2023 budget, or 8% increase. Some of the items to point out is there is a $7.8 million increase in state funding. Please keep in mind that this is just for 2024. We don't know yet if this will be the same amount for 2025. And therefore, we are making an allocation. We are reserving $4.6 million for new initiatives. Again, not knowing whether we're receiving the 7.8 for 2025. We do know that there will be, the coordinating board will be revisiting the formula and possibly making adjustments. And those adjustments will be reflected in the 2025 fiscal year. Also to note on the revenue side, there is a reduction of $1 million. And this is due to the approval of waiving of the tuition and fees for the dual enrollment program. So that is already taken into account in this year and the upcoming 2024 budget. Tax revenue, it is being projected at a 98% collection rate. We are projecting that we're going to receive an increase of 3.2 million in tax revenue for next fiscal year. For expenditures, the proposed budget includes a 3% general pay increase for all eligible employees that amounted to 1.3 million. It also includes an increase of 2.6 million in equipment. And the reason for that is that in prior years, we have taken out the equipment request and purchased them out of savings. This year, we are keeping them in the general operating budget. And therefore, you are seeing that increase in the equipment requests. Other than that, again, those are the major items in the next year's budget. Again, the proposed budget, it stands at 71,748,958. That's a $5.4 million increase from the current 2023 budget, or 8%. As far as the taxes, the proposed tax rate is 0.267675. The certified taxable values that were submitted by the Webb County Appraisal District are 21,274,779 I'm sorry, 274,779,624. We have a tax levy of 56,452,763. Again, we are projecting a 98% collection rate. Any questions on?
Any questions? Do you have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the fiscal year 2024 budget be adopted as presented by administration.
Second the motion.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos and Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is 7A1, resolution adopting fiscal year 2024.
We just did that.
We just did. We already did.
2023 property tax.
No, I need to do the. Oh, sorry.
Do one at a time.
7A,
Wait, Rusty.
yes, sir.
So, and this item was still on the adoption of the budget.
Yes.
Of the budget. So there was a motion made, seconded, and that passed. The next step would be to adopt a resolution. The resolution should be read out loud,
Which
and
is the
that would be
tax
for
rate.
the budget.
For the budget first, which is the tax rate.
I don't have
There's
the
a
one
revenue-
for the,
Resolution.
I have the resolution for the adopting tax rate. And then I have the adopting tax rate
And then adopting the budget.
and general use fee and expenditure of funds.
There should
There's
be a
three.
resolution for the adoption of
Of the
the
budget, that's. the first
fiscal
one.
year 2024 budget.
It's
And
right.
I think it's in your
This one?
material.
Oh, it's in the little book.
Yeah.
Okay, I found it. So let me go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution adopting budget for fiscal year 2024. Whereas each year, the Board of Trustees of the Laredo College District is required to have a budget prepared showing the estimated revenue and proposed expenditures for the succeeding school year and to cause the same to be filed in accordance with the rules and regulations prescribed by the Texas Higher Education Board. And whereas such a budget has been prepared and the public has been given notice that such budget would be presented for discussion and adoption on August 24, 2023, at the time and place specified in such notice. And whereas such budget has been discussed and a majority of the Board of Trustees wish to adopt same for fiscal year 2024. Be it resolved, therefore, that such budget be adopted and same is hereby adopted in all things. Adopted on this 24th day of August 2023 by the Board of Trustees. So do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Trustees adopt a resolution adopting a fiscal year 2024 budget as presented.
I second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mrs. Vela. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next item is
Resolution for the property tax. Adopting.
adopting the
Property.
resolution adopting 2023 property tax rate. So I'll read the resolution.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Vela, you need to present the item.
It's board members, again, the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2024, tax year 23 is 0.267675, of which 0.220895 is for maintenance and operations, and 0.046780 is for debt service. The proposed tax rate will yield a tax levy of 56,452,763. Again, it is for the board to consider and adopt the attached resolution.
Okay, so, yes, sir. Chair recognizes Mr. Muir.
Yes, Madam President, board members, and Dr. Almeida. So for the public's knowledge, we are on item 7A2, and that calls for the adoption of a resolution adopting the property tax rate. Now, the law, it's section 2605 subsection B of the property tax code, requires that a motion be adopted with specific language to it. So the first thing you'll do is adopt the motion. Once that's adopted, then you move to step 2, which would be reading the resolution and then adopting the resolution.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.267675 per $100 valuation, which is effectively a 5.61% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now 7.8.2, a resolution adopting 2023 property tax rate for fiscal year 2024. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Laredo College District, in order to levy ad valorem taxes, is required to set and establish a tax rate each year. And whereas such Board of Trustees has considered this matter and desires to set the 2023 property tax rate. Be it resolved, therefore, that on August 24th, 2023, the 2023 property tax rate be, and the same is hereby set at 0.267675 per $100 valuation of taxable property, of which 0.220895 shall be for maintenance and operations, and 0.046780 shall be for debt retirement. Sorry. This tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 5% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on the average homestead taxable value of $185,206 by approximately $22.57. Sorry. such. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Madam President, this resolution that's being read, that was included with your board materials, but the
Yes.
resolution that needs to be adopted tonight was revised. I visited with Mr. Vela about
I
that.
have
on
it
a couple of
revised.
occasions. Okay, that one,
Yeah.
that
I'm
is
reading
the
the
original
revised.
resolution. The revised one should have a different language. Mr. Vela might have.
That's the one that was put right here.
That's the one that in the little book?
No, this one's a separate. It was right here on the side.
Okay.
Mira, dice revised.
It says revised. So what did I bring? Okay,
Look at this.
so I'm gonna start where
Again.
it's different. No,
With the second bold paragraph.
right. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 55.61%, which is 5.61, and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately negative $9.30, 9.30. Such taxes are to be assessed and collected by the tax officials designated by Laredo College, adopted on this 24th day of August 23rd by the Board of Trustees. So do I have a motion for the resolution?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of,
Madam Chair.
I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the
Thank you,
resolution
Mr. Martinez.
adopting the 2023 property tax rate as presented.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, no.
Yes.
Just a clarification, we had that document that it said revised here. So that is not the correct one.
Yes, no, that,
5.61.
Okay, because it had the word revised on it.
Yeah.
we'll correct that.
So this one?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to the third item.
No, you have to pass the resolution. We already.
We just-
We already did.
We're already. The third resolution.
So the third resolution authorizing collection of general use fee and expenditure of funds for fiscal year 2024. Mr. Vella?
Yes, board members, this item also requires a motion and then the adoption of the
Right.
resolution.
So do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Trustees authorize the collection of a general use fee and the expenditure of funds for fiscal year 2024 as presented by administration.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to adopt the resolution. And I will read the resolution. Resolution authorizing collection of general use fee and expenditure of funds for fiscal year 2024. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Laredo College District is authorized to fix and collect tuition and fees from students for the use of its property, buildings, and facilities. And whereas such Board of Trustees has deemed it necessary and advisable to collect a general use fee from students for the use of its property, buildings, and facilities, and to apply such proceeds to the payment of principal and interest of certain revenue bonds issued and sold in 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2020 for expenses generally associated with construction, reconstruction, remodeling, and repair of its property, buildings, and facilities. And whereas such Board of Trustees has determined that such general use fee should be set at $50 per semester credit hour for fiscal year 2024 to be used as follows. Approximately 4,328,771 for revenue bond debt service. Number two is approximately to be retained as general revenue for expenses related to physical plant operations and maintenance. Number three, the balance for payment of construction, reconstruction, remodeling, and repair of property, buildings, and facilities. Be it resolved, therefore, that a general use fee be collected from students at the time of registration in the amount of $50 per semester credit hour for fiscal year 2024. Adopted on this 24th day of August 23rd by the Board of Trustees. So do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the resolution authorizing collection of general use fee and expenditure of funds for fiscal year 2024 as presented.
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Ms. Vela. Any discussion?
No.
None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Vela.
you.
Oh, you stay up there. Okay.
It says
Let me
where-
go to the next. 7B. So we're done, Mr. Muir? We're done with the
Yeah,
rest
with
of
that.
Okay. 7B, approval of agreement with the city of Laredo for the use of the college recreational fields. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, good evening, board members. The next item is to request that the board authorize the college president and legal counsel to negotiate a contract with the city of Laredo for the use of the college's recreational fields. On May 15, 2023, the city council approved authorizing the city manager to execute a use agreement with the college for use of the recreational fields at the Fort McIntosh and South campuses. The city is currently interested in leasing the fields to make them available to the public. We have received a draft agreement, which is part of your board packet. Currently, it is being reviewed by legal counsel. So at this point, we're asking that the board authorize the college president to negotiate the terms of the agreement.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos. I have a second by Mr. Delgado. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 7C, approval of construction contract for Arechiga Hall Restoration Project. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, board members, we're asking that the board authorize the college president to negotiate a contract with Decker Construction of Texas as being the highest rank proposer for the Arechiga Hall Restoration Project as scored by the building committee. We're also asking that the board approve the use of $1,020,400 from the deferred maintenance fund to cover the difference needed to complete the project. The proposals were reviewed at the building committee meeting. They were evaluated using the criteria listed on the agenda item. We did receive 3 proposals. The highest rank proposal, which was Decker Construction of Texas, came in, the score was 219. American Contracting was rated second at 185, and Summit Building and Design at 154. Again, we are asking for approval for the college president to negotiate a contract.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos. I have a second by Mr. Delgado. Any discussion? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Vela.
Thank you.
Next.
Going what is
No,
that?
I know. She's still there for a while. Next item is 7D, approval of building plaque for building P14, Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, board members, in order to comply with board policy COA local, we are bringing this item for approval. This is the building plaque for the renovations to the former Fort McIntosh Post Hospital P14, which is currently the Imaginarium building. That building has been completed. We are only pending work on the exterior of the building. However, there is a lead time to get the plaque ordered, so we're asking for approval from the board.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos.
I second.
I have a second by Mrs. Vela. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos for a comment.
Mr. Vela,
Yes, ma'am.
maybe I'm wrong. Where it says Dr. Minita Ramirez, should it be L period C period? Or should it say Laredo College?
Oh, I see, or maybe just LC president
I believe all of our plaques have
at the
been
period.
the,
At the period?
else, yes.
Okay.
We'll double check before placing you.
Doesn't need a period. It
Doesn't need a period, no.
I wouldn't imagine it.
It's not a,
Grammatically, it's not
No.
correct.
it's not an abbreviation or like,
Does it lower the price if we take off the period?
Two.
There, that's my comment. That's all.
I don't know, I'm just a grammar
That's
cop.
all.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I didn't notice it.
On both,
Not required.
on the other one too.
Yes.
Okay,
We'll
so
point that out.
Thanks.
the next item is, I'm
No, no,
sorry,
no, we're good. We'll,
Oh.
we'll.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to let you know, we'll review the grammar and the spelling and my only question to you all is, should the Laredo College be above the Raquel Gonzalez Automotive Technology Center diesel and shop expansion? In the previous one, the name of the college is also under the name. Shouldn't it be above the name of the facility? I don't know.
I do agree with you on that, but it's always been done that.
It's always been like this. That it should.
But
I
there's
just
room
think
for
that
change.
I just think that the college is the owner of the facility and the college name
Yeah.
should be above the name of the actual
That is,
building.
Mhm.
And so
that is true.
again, it's a matter of schematics and grammar. And so,
Is it the same thing with the previous one?
yes,
I
sir.
would
If
say
you'll
so.
scroll back up,
Yeah.
it should be the other way around.
I haven't gotten to this one.
See, this one
No.
has it
This one
above.
has-
That one's.
On the top. Yeah. Yep.
But this one, we're gonna lease it. So this one technically it's Laredo College.
Well, they're all Laredo.
They're
College.
all Laredo College.
Well, that's true.
Fine,
Good
let's
question.
just not do the plaques.
No.
Something to
No, we need to
consider.
do the plaque, sir. I'm just
Well, something to-
suggesting that if, in my opinion, if y'all don't mind, we can visit. But, I do think the name of the institution should
Should be
be
first.
above
Yes,
Mhm.
it
the
was.
name of the actual either department or building that is being named.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
because external, it goes on the exterior. If people walk up, it should have the institutional name first.
Actually,
Okay.
do you have to have a motion on that?
No.
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 You
No.
can just do it? Yeah.
So 7E is approval of building plaque for diesel shop expansion project. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, members of the board, this is the plaque that will be at the Raquel Gonzalez Technology Center Diesel Shop Expansion. And again, it's to meet with the requirements of board policy CLA local. The board needs to approve the plaque. We'll make note of the changes by moving Laredo College to the top and removing the periods on the LC.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So moved.
So I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos.
Second.
I have a second by Mrs. Garcia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
7F, adopt a resolution supporting Jamco International Incorporated application to become a usage-driven foreign trade zone number 94 designation located at 114 Ross Calady Drive, Laredo, Texas, 78045. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As discussed before, this is a foreign trade zone request by a private group, building group, or owner of a property The next several items are about the same topic from different owners. I know that many of us have been doing some of our due diligence and doing research on that. And so at this point, we're asking that the board accept and approve 7F.
Should we do all three
Madam-
together, do you think, or do we do it
Well,
separate?
that's-
No, we have to do them separately since they're different names
True,
and they're different items.
okay.
So move.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. Do I have a second?
I did, I will.
Okay, so I have a second by Mrs. Vela. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're fine, we're
They're not
fine.
here.
Mr. Martinez, I didn't hear him.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, did you agree on the motion?
Yeah, it's perfectly good, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. 7G is adopt a resolution supporting Bruni Supply Chain Solutions Incorporated application to become a usage-driven foreign trade zone number 94 designation located at 214 Fletcher Lane, Laredo, Texas, 78045. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is another entity requesting a foreign trade zone designation, Bruni Supply Chain Solutions, Inc. And again, we're recommending approval.
So move, Madam Chair.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado.
Second.
I have a second by Mrs. Garcia and Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7I. Oh, sorry, 7H. Adopt a resolution supporting Crane Worldwide Logistics LLC application to become a usage-driven foreign trade zone number 94 designation located at 6110 Bob Bullock Loop, Laredo, Texas, 78041. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In this case, Crane Worldwide Logistics had already been granted approval. They were at their current location. They were moving to Bob Bullock Loop and needed to obtain designation or approval from us for their new location. And so, again, administration is recommending approval.
So
Okay.
move.
No
So I
problem.
have a motion by Mr. Delgado. Do I have a second?
Aye.
By Mrs. Vela. Any discussion? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7I is designate Laredo College president to provide letters of support for foreign trade zone requests. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Madam Chair, in doing a lot of the background check on these foreign trade zones, and I want to thank Mr. Delgado for supporting and helping us do that background information gathering and discussion with several of the city personnel about foreign trade zone. It is definitely to our advantage to support the free trade zone agreements. And in checking with my colleagues from not just Laredo and Webb County, but my colleagues outside of Laredo and along the foreign trade zone area in the state of Texas, they're authorized by their board of trustees to make these commitments on behalf of the institution. And then therefore they bring it forward to the Board of Trustees only as an information item, so that you wouldn't have to be approving every single one. In some cases, it's about time. And I must say that for one of the ones we approved this evening, they've been waiting for 3 weeks for approval because we don't have a board meeting but once a month. And therefore their petition came in early in the month and had to wait till the end. So they haven't moved locations and paying additional rent at their current location because our board had not meant to do this. And so when we started asking around and we started finding out information about it, it became evident that these items coming forward to the board is not necessarily required. And so, but it's up to you all to decide. If you all want to keep making the decision, that's fine with us. We will abide by your wishes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Well, can I say something? Yeah.
Okay, so I have Mrs. Vela before I take the motion.
I
recognize Mrs. Vela. I thought
don't
you were
have
gonna say
a
something.
problem. The only thing would be just to advise us. You know, as long as we know, I mean, that's my feeling. As long as we're advised about it.
Any other questions? Okay, so I have a motion by Mrs. Ramos
I'll second.
and I have a second by Mr. Delgado and Mrs. Vela. Any discussion? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And so just to be clear, Madam Chair, I will bring forward if we approve any, or if any come in and we send a letter of agreement, we will bring those forward as information items.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
So we can know,
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
just enough.
okay? The next, number 8, consent agenda. So I have 8A, July 2023 financial report. Mr. Cesar Vela,
It's consent.
are you?
Can-
Madam Chair, I have a motion to approve all items on consent agenda from 8A all the way down to 8L.
Second. So I have a motion.
Madam Chair.
So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. I have a second by Mrs. Ramos and Mr. Martinez. Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Mayor, do I have to read all the items?
No.
No?
not on
No.
consent.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Next item is information items. 9A, student enrollment report, Dr. Fred Solis and Ms. Jessica Trevino.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, President Ramirez, colleagues, and visitors. Fred Solis, Vice President for Student Success and Enrollment, for the record.
Good evening, Jessica Trevino, Associate Vice President of Enrollment Management.
Before I begin the PowerPoint slide presentation, I'd just like to preface the fact that we started fall registration back in March of 27th to 2023. So today marks the 151st day of registration. So it's been a very busy period of registering students. On Monday, we started our 16-week courses like we in the traditional format like we normally do. And also we started our first 8-week course programming on Monday as well. The census date for the 8-week term is going to come up on Monday, the 28th of August. And so we'll be taking our census numbers for the 8-week terms. And then on September the 5th, we'll take our census numbers for the long 16-week terms as well. Moving on then, I'm happy to report that currently our headcount enrollment is 247 students as of this morning, ahead of where we ended up last year for the fall semester. So the numbers are looking very healthy, both in the non-dual student population as well as in the dual credit population. There is a note that I want to impress on the board this evening, and that is we do have an additional 400 students that will probably count for the enrollment. We're not counting them now only because their courses have not started yet and won't do so until the second start or the second 8-week term begins or latter part of courses. So conceivably, we could be looking at an increase of over 600 students if all things stay the same. The next slide basically gives you a breakdown of how the student populations fare for this fall semester at this time. The first time in college student are those students that have never come to Laredo College or a college at all or have started in higher education. Right now, we have 1,710 students that fall under that category, making up 18% of our enrollment currently. We do have the returning student body. These are the students that are either entering their second year of study
or that have been out for a while and now are coming back to take their credit courses. That comprises 3,948 students, or 41% of our student population. Additionally, our dual credit population currently stands at 3834 as of this morning, and that comprises 40% of our enrollment as well. And then the small sliver that you see in the pie chart is actually those students that have transferred to LC from other institutions. In this case, there's about 51 students that have transferred, comprising 1% of our enrollment right now. This question came up last night at our Student Success Committee meeting, and that was to give an idea more or less of how students were enrolling in terms of their, what we would refer to as their campus. So at Fort McIntosh campus, we have 19% of our students enrolled at Fort McIntosh. At South Campus, we have about 7% who are enrolled. In distance education or online learning courses, we have about 26% of our student population. On our off-campus, those would be the students that are taking clinicals or practicums and so forth, internships. There's 33% of those students enrolled. And in our hybrid format, we have about 15% of the students. Wow. Now, keep in mind, these are not mutually exclusive because the student can combine their different type of courses and different modes of how they take the class.
Mhm.
Additionally, for our continuing education enrollment, this question came up last night as well in our Student Success Committee. Continuing ed, ladies and gentlemen of the board, does not run on a semester basis. They run on a quarter basis. And so therefore, the quarter for them begins actually until September. So right now that we're in August, we're actually wrapping up the 22-23 academic year under continuing ed. So really, it's one more week of August, and then their fourth quarter will come to an end, and they'll cycle back into quarter one beginning in September. As you can see, the numbers there are based on headcount, with the common course offering of Police Academy, substitute teacher being the highest enrollment offerings that we have under continuing ed at this time. Third is in line is the hazard material handling course as well. So those are the three top offerings under continuing ed across the different quarters at this time. And now to recap our commencement of our graduating class, I'll call on our AVP, Jessica Trevino, for that update.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fred. So first and foremost, thank you so much for being present at our summer commencement ceremony. It was a tremendous success in our eyes. So we hope you had a good time and you enjoyed it as well. This summer, we actually had two ceremonies happening on Friday, August 11th. The first one included our graduates from the Bachelor's of Organizational Leadership, which we are hoping to continue having in this big ceremony. Previously, they used to have their own standalone ceremony, and now they're accounted for in this one ceremony. We did have a total of 114 students graduate in the morning ceremony. And in the afternoon ceremony, we had a total of 103 students graduate. The certificates graduates took the larger portion of the seats there, with 92 graduates for certificates and 11 in the Associate of Applied Science. In the morning ceremonies, the Associate of Arts at 47 and the Associate of Science at 34 graduates. So once again, we thank you for the support for the summer commencement, and we look forward to seeing you in less than 3 months for our fall ceremony.
Thank you. Any questions? Discussion? Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Yeah, I just want to point out, Madam Chair, to all of you that of the 1710 new first time in college students, approximately 1,650 of those are recent graduates from high school. So what does that mean? It means that as we continue to be a highly non-traditional campus, we're starting to develop a traditional cohort of students so that long-term we can build a higher retention rate and a higher graduation rate. And so it is critical that that first time in college cohort maintain their enrollment. And so there's a whole lot of other things, and I know that yesterday the committee, Ms. Liendo and Ms. Garcia were here for the presentation, but there are a whole lot of other programs that are happening within what we're doing daily to make sure that the students stay engaged. And so these shorter micro credentials, these 2,500 continuing ed or continuing education students, all of those micro credentials are now going to count as part of our new measuring formula. But these brand new 1,700 students are gonna also play out themselves in a critical way. And so because many of those 1,650 that are recent graduates are coming in with approximately 18 hours of college credit already. So within a year, especially now with our 8-week courses, within a year, they'll be completing their associate's degree, which again, will count on our new formula funding. So all of it is great news. I think
Yes, it is.
from an enrollment management standpoint, I think we're on the roll here. Thank you, Dr.
In
Fred.
closing, I
Thank
would
you.
just like to impress on the board that although we have been registering for 151 days now, registration will still continue for the second fall
For the
semester
second-
or the second 8-week term
second
that's coming up. And so that registration is ongoing. Thank you.
Yes, the chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos.
Dr. Ramirez or Dr. Solis, is there any way, I mean, I know it's a very tall order, but knowing where the kids are going after they graduate, if they're not going anywhere, recruiting those students, I know that once they leave, they stay in a database of where they're going or if they're not going anywhere. Is that something that's possible?
So part of the requirement for our new formula funding is that we track the students after they graduate here, whether it's a micro credential, whether it's a licensure, certificate, or an associate's degree. We have to track the students. And so part of the Workforce Development Center's task is to track those students and where they're transferring to. And so hence our MOUs with the 4-year institutions are critical. And so are our partnerships with our industry-based advisory boards and where our students are getting hired. Because if they're being hired into the workforce, we also need to track that. And so, so everybody's playing a critical part in that. And how we track them and how we report them is a critical component of what we're unfolding this year. So it's a great question. Yes, it is required. We can tell you right now where the students are coming from, because all of that is captured in the admissions process.
Okay.
And so we're actually meeting currently with all of the high school programs, so that we can give them a wrap up of how many students actually came to Laredo College from the dual credit program and how many came that were not part of the dual credit program. And so those meetings are ongoing. But in the future, we're gonna have to be able to give you a report of where they went when they graduated.
From high
So starting, from here.
From here.
And we'll be able to track them all the way through. So if they came from high school X, came through here, finished, and then where did they end up? We're gonna be able to have that full holistic view of that student. Ideally through the National Clearinghouse, we'll be able to track them even after that. Once they graduate from college, we'll be able to capture that data through the Clearinghouse if we have them, if they're in that database and if the receiving institution is part of the Clearinghouse.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
It's a great dissertation here because it's a longevity study. So
Yeah.
in case anybody out there is interested in a dissertation.
So in the past, we would go to the high schools. Are we going to continue doing that?
Yes, ma'am, we're doing that twice a
Okay.
week. We have a team going out to every high school locally, I'm sorry,
Yes, so
ahead.
as part of the recruitment and dual enrollment office, we will have presence at the high school, at every local high school, and there is actually a project coming down the pipeline that will require pictures and signatures. We do have to revamp our MOU agreements with the different districts and to be able to be at the high schools with our recruiters, but moreover with our student mentorship program. It is a requirement of the coordinating board that we have a yearly signed MOU to make sure that our presence at the high schools is ongoing.
And that's also including the two other counties that we cover. Is that
Yes,
correct?
to Zapata and
Jim Hog-
Jim Hagen, yes, all the anywhere where we have presence.
Okay,
Correct.
good. Thank you. Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Next item is 9B, Laredo College Student Handbook. Dr. Fred Solis.
Madam President, this presentation will be made by Mr. Carmelino Castillo, who is the Associate Vice President for Student Engagement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, Ms. Cepeda, board members, Dr. Ramirez, faculty and staff and executives. My name is Carmelino Castillo, Jr., Associate Vice President for Student Life and Engagement. It's my pleasure this evening to provide you all information regarding Laredo College Student Handbook. In the years past, our handbook was merged and combined with our student catalog. However, in order for our students to really engage and learn about their rights and responsibilities, the rules pertaining to them as students, we went ahead and separated the student handbook from the catalog. And so now we have our own standalone student handbook, which students are going to be receiving in the 12th class day by way of electronic, because in addition to this, we're able to create an online version of our student handbook. So that way it's accessible and readily available for our students 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So when a student goes in, it's very easy. All they have to do is just go into our Laredo College website, click on Student Services, and you'll notice that it's right there, Student Handbook. They click on Student Handbook, and it provides them all the information at a click of a glance, really quickly for them to get what they need. One of the most important items there is their student rights and responsibilities, information that's there. The menu side provides them the different options that they have. Student Code of Conduct. That Student Code of Conduct is information that's going to be conveyed to the students after the 12th class day. So that way they're aware of any types of requirements that they must follow. In addition to that, they also receive all the responsibilities, any Title IX trainings that they must complete, informational that's required by the state. So our students have this readily available. Now, we do have this printed. Now, our printed version does tend to change because we do have changes in policy and laws that happen. So our online version would be the most up-to-date and current one that we'll refer our students to. Is there any questions?
Any questions?
Good work.
Mr. Delgado is
Very
very
good. It's
excited that
nice.
it's on the,
I know, me too.
on the
Me
website.
too. It's nice and easy to get.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of us are excited. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So the only thing I would ask is that if and when we do have changes and you give out that book, let them know that there are changes that are on the website.
Yes, definitely. We inform the student that the information that's on
The
the book
student
will
can come back and
change.
say it's not in the book.
Yes, and we also will inform them even in the email when we send the correspondence regarding the student handbook that to look for the most recent would be online on our website with the link.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Let me go to the next item, 9C, update on Student Success Committee. Ms. Erica Benavides Garcia.
Hello, Madam Chair. We had a meeting last night on student success, the committee. It was a very good meeting and I thank everybody for their hard work and everything they did. I'm just going to give you a gist of what we discussed at that meeting and the different topics. The first one was student enrollment. As you already know, student enrollment is up as compared to last year at this time. They just let us know that we are close to 250 more students than we were last year. And as we spoke, because I wrote this without knowing that they were going to speak, we have approximately about 1,700 new students and 1,600 of those are recent grads. We have approximately 3,800 dual credit students and close to 4,000 returning students. Okay, we also spoke on the student handbook, and the new thing was that it was online as well as a hard copy. And of course, you know, we want online because that's a living, breathing document. You know, it can be updated immediately, as where, you know, the hard copy cannot, or it just takes longer. So of course, we have a preference for online. Next, with the 8 and 4 week instructional course models on student success, we've transitioned most of our courses to 8 and 4 week model. And of course, some 16 week courses remain. The 8 week courses are not a compression of the 16 weeks. They're uniquely designed. They're a uniquely designed course to be taught in 8 weeks. Now, since we have these courses on a larger scale, we spoke of surveying students to, on their feedback on their feel of the material and the course, since it's something new for us, right? Next was implementing House Bill 8 outcome-based funding model. For this, Dr. Salinas did a really, really good job. The presentation was a simplification of House Bill 8. It is changing from static to dynamic. We are now going to keep account of all students that complete all coursework, credentials of value, and/or transfer to a 4-year institution. It's also important to note that learners that are 25 years or older have a higher weight in the funding model. So we should plan initiatives to bring this target of students, this group of students, to our college. Lastly, we're the Federal Financial Aid Department of Education Title IV and Higher Education Act. Changes are coming and they're lengthy. The financial aid application will not open on October the 1st, as it has been in the past. It will now open in December. As of today, we still don't have an accurate date for December. This is supposed to be a one-time deal during this adjustment year. However, we're not sure about that either. Other adjustments include shorter financial aid applications. I think they said yesterday went from 100 questions to about 36. Also, parents now have to sign the application electronically, which may present some barriers for our parents. So we have to be prepared for this. And that's what, you know, that was the gist of the meeting. It's very good. Thank you.
I just have a question on
Yes.
on the last item, you said that some parents might have problems.
Mhm.
Or what are we doing? Are we?
So, Madam Chair, you're looking at me, so Mayta Ramirez for the record. I guess you're asking me for an answer. So we're doing multiple things. So ideally, we're hoping that the students will help their parents work
Okay.
on that. Now, we are doing FAFSA events at the different high schools for those parents that are parents of high school students.
Right.
We're also doing Saturday workshops or Saturday open house for community members to come in and get that done. We are staying late. As you all know, we stay till 6, but a couple of nights a week, we're going to be staying a little bit longer to help facilitate for parents that are working and can't get here by 6 o'clock. And so ideally, even for some individuals, getting here by 6 sometimes creates a problem just because of traffic. I know some of you have to drive Loop 20 and it gets kind of difficult to get all the way out here on time. And so we're working on making sure that our community members know how quickly they can access that information. We're also doing short video clips that we're putting YouTube video clips on how to do the application for admissions, how to fill out the FAFSA, how to submit your scholarship application. So all of these how-to short videos are being done by our students and by our staff so that they're accessible and easy to find. And we'll have links from the financial aid page to them. Yes, sir. You were going to ask me a question.
So the chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos.
Yeah.
Or did you?
No, you're good. Okay. So when you go to the high schools, you can ask if they're going to be doing the financial aid, if you could borrow like a computer lab Or?
We do.
Yeah.
We
okay,
do
so
that. We
would-
do them in computer labs and we do them in the library where they have sets of computers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's
that's very
pretty
good.
standard. And that's how we do when we register early. And we do on-site registration for those students to register ahead of time. That gives the academic program some real heads up as to how many more classes we're going to need to open. And so there's a lot of rationale for the timeline of that process. Well, not traditionally, but for the last about 5 years, the opening date for FAFSA was October 1st.
Mhm.
And so now, and we had just gotten everybody used to the October 1st deadline. And now we're going to sometime in December. At this point, there's no concrete date for that, as Ms. Garcia mentioned. So it's going to be a hurry up and wait kind of thing. But the prior means the utilization, and we didn't discuss this last night, the utilization of the prior income tax return is still in effect. So
Okay.
that's very helpful. So the minute that it opens in December, they won't have the income tax for the current year,
Not for
but
23.
not for 23, but they'll be able to use their 22 income tax for it.
Okay.
So the prior authorization is still in effect. Now, keep in mind that this financial aid application is for the FY 25 year.
Yes. uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah. And then also I wanted to ask, on your presentation on number 6, is it gonna be a problem where it says there's no more safe key? So may I ask the question to Mr. Aguilar? Dr. Ramirez?
Number 6, where's number 6?
And the important changes coming with the FAFSA.
Oh, you're looking at the
I'm sorry,
presentation.
the presentation.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues. To answer your question, yes, no more safe key. So that is actually gonna help the student because from now on, and I talked about this yesterday, what's gonna happen with the FAFSA, with the IRS retrieval tool, that is going to go away. Before the student can bring the tax returns to the high school and fill out the FAFSA, finish the FAFSA, or use the tax return, the tool. Now, what's going to happen, this is going to be a process that is going to help the students and to minimize any errors and to help students out, to help our students to be successful. Yeah.
I see that we are saying goodbye to EFC.
Yes, so the
Yay.
EFC, the
It's a
estimated family
different name.
contribution,
Yeah.
is no longer going to be in practice. We're going to have what is called the student SAI, which is going to be the same thing. Now we're going to use percentages to make sure that when we award the financial aid, it's not going to be just for 6 hours. If you're going to 7 hours, we're going to pay you a little bit more. So it's actually going to help the student.
Very good.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say also that the Department of Education is going to send messages to all the districts in the country regarding this new change to all the counselors in the different districts to make sure that they understand that this change is coming. This change is going to, I hate yesterday, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yes, it's going to be a major overhaul to the FAFSA. This overhaul has not happened in many years. Now this overhaul is going to change the way that we do things, the way that we go to our students. We're going to have to do a lot of marketing. We're going to have to partner with all the high schools, which we already do. I know that we have an amazing department from enrollment to admissions to recruitment, and all of this is going to be pushed to the students. It's going to be, we're already doing it. And the only factors in this is that like Dr. Benita said, that the Department of Ed can change their mind at any times. One of the things is that opening the FAFSA in December, it brings down how fast we could award the student.
Mhm.
Is that going to be a major issue? We expect that change in the FAFSA we might take a hit on some of the students receiving that Title IV. That was the biggest worry that I expressed to Dr. Ramirez, but we're not sure yet. We will find out and we will keep you updated of all these changes coming up.
Now, just for clarification,
Yes.
when they're at the high school, they are asked or they're told, or you have to meet a
By law.
requirement about filling out your FAFSA.
Sure.
So would this impact the students that don't have, proof of income and things like that? How will it affect those students?
Yes. Jessica Trevino, AVP of Enrollment Management for the record. So actually, when we are at the high schools, these are actually pre-scheduled events that we work with every high school. And it is called the Financial Aid Application Drive, the FAFSA Drive. We're actually trying to go away from the FAFSA word because students that are attending these events can apply to the financial aid application that they need, whether it's the FAFSA for federal aid or the TASFA for state aid. In addition to that, we also do the admissions application on the spot with them there. The student is already there. So these pre-scheduled sessions, we actually inform the student of the documents that they have to bring ahead of time. So it's a partnership with our districts, again, with our high schools, and we are being told what documentation they need to bring. In the event a student does not have the documents required, we will still do as much as possible of the application with them up until the financial information that we do need. So there is a requirement for the students. They have to fall under one of the 5 or 6 different criteria in order to be deemed independent. If they do not qualify for an independency status, then they are required to submit documentation. And that's one of the points of clarification we do want to mention. With these changes, students will have to do their part of the FAFSA application. And then the parents will have to go in there and complete their part of the FAFSA application. So it's a two-part process where both student and parent need to be engaged in the completion of the application. So we do try to anticipate as much as possible the use and need of documents ahead of time so that students are prepared with these FAFSA drives so that we're able to assist as many as possible.
And I do agree with Ms. Trevino that there is a what do you call it? A perception when I apply for FAFSA. I'm not going to get it because I don't have any financial need because my parents have money. But that is something we need to keep pushing because many students still have that idea that why should I fill out my FAFSA and, and I don't need to fill it out because I'm not going to qualify. And parents feel the same way too. So I think that stigma and that, that what we've always been told, if FAFSA, financial aid,
Correct.
It's more for the qualifying for other types of resources that are available out there.
If I
Yes.
may,
Oh.
it is a requirement of many scholarships. Regardless of whether you have financial need or not, scholarship is merit-based. You earned it because of your academic record. And many scholarship donors require a FAFSA. And so we do too. For our institutional scholarship, we require a FAFSA, whether you're gonna be Pell eligible or not, you still require the FAFSA. And just to make sure that you're not losing out on any entitlements, because some may. And then to answer your first question, Texas law requires every high school student before they graduate to fill out a FAFSA. Now, it's been amended and does allow for a waiver on behalf of the student. So some of the counselors are having students sign waivers just in case they don't get them done on time and they can still graduate. That's gonna increase our need to be a little more diligent because now it really puts the onus on us because the students are now saying, well, I don't really have to do it. I'm going to graduate anyway. That was the gatekeeper for a lot of students. And so good thing or bad thing that they put in the amendment. Personally, I think it's a bad thing. But some people think it's a good thing. So, I think that's a personal decision. I do think that every student, regardless of whether you're a recent graduate from high school or 40 years old and coming back to school, every student, if you've never used your entitlements, you need to fill out a FAFSA and you need to find out what you're eligible for. And maybe you're not because of your income, but that doesn't mean that you're not entitled to an academic scholarship.
Right.
So
I know they did that at UTSA,
mhm.
so they have to first financial aid and then they move forward. So
Correct.
definitely, I know we do that too here, but sometimes it gets lost in translation when the parents they just say, why should I fill it out? But I think the message is to be positive about it and proactive and say, you know what? It's recommended in the long run, better to do it now than to do it later.
Yes, correct.
Mm.
So I do want to add, you mentioned parents, and that is something that we are working on. We are working on a series of publications, marketing publications in both English and Spanish that are geared towards parents rather than students, at least for our high school students, so that we kind of cut from the root those myths and hearsay that they have. So we are working on those publications.
Apologize for making it too long. Those are questions I have.
No, of
So,
course.
Thank you.
Yes, no
I
problem.
had a question. but
Chair recognizes Mrs. Garcia.
I had a question and it was that, if you all were also marketing in Spanish.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the publications and just marketing in general, because a lot of the times, some of those parents, you know, they don't understand English and they don't realize the importance and the timeliness of all of this.
Correct. So the videos that Dr. Ramirez did mention are actually included within a series of communication pieces that we will be putting out as we continue to receive updates from the Department of Education.
Okay.
So it'll be a series of information in English and in Spanish geared towards parents, but also to students or the returning students and continuing students on our campus.
Very good. Thank
Very
you.
good, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. The next item is 9D, gifts, donations, grants and endowments report. Dr. Diana Ortiz, Ms. Sara Pompa, and Mr. Gabriel Lozano.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, President Ramirez, colleagues, and community members. I'm going to be deferring this to Ms. Pompa here shortly, but I just want to share with you regarding grants where we are for the activity summary report from April to July. We did not have any new grants awarded. However, we are working on a bunch of grants because submissions are starting already in September. And we have a lot of big grants that we are going to be working on. In fact, we do have some members from PNC that are going to be joining us in September. They're coming in from out of town. They work on the DDHR scholarship that we renew every year. They're going to be coming to see the campus. They're going to be coming to learn a little bit about the things that we're doing. So I did want to report that for Mr. Gabe Lozano, there are no new grants. However, we are working on applications that are going to be due in September, and we will be having PNC come in that awards the DDHR scholarship. With that said, I will be deferring this to Ms. Sara Pompa so she can go over the activity summary report from April through July on endowments and scholarships as well as other gifts.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Ramirez and colleagues. I'm here to provide a summary of our development office activity with regard to endowment scholarships and other gifts that were secured. We have, just for the record, some funding that is new and other funding that is considered a renewal. On the first section, we have our endowments. We have a $30,000 donation that will be coming to the college, and it's from the Laredo Border Chapter API. And these monies will go to support oil and gas and/or oil and gas related program students for the total endowment of $30,000. And this is a recurring fund because they currently do have an endowment with us. Under our scholarships, we have a new funding from AEP in the amount of $35,000, and that one is to support lineman tech program that will be initiated through the continuing education department. We received $150,000 from the DDHR Charitable Trust, a recurring fund, and that one is to support honors program students. We have a $400 donation from James McGrath, and that one is also recurring. And this gentleman, he's an older gentleman, but since I've been here and even before, he always sends us 400, 500, 300. So we certainly appreciate all his efforts. And this is just support for general scholarship. We have from the Lamar Bruni Vergara Trust, which is also a recurring fund, $125,000. And this is support for health sciences and workforce program students. We received a $10,000 donation from Life Laredo International Fair and Expo. It's also recurring. And this is support for students who are coming to us who were former FFA and or 4-H high school grads residing in Webb. We received through my office a $100,000 donation from a donor, Norma B. Hunt. We classified that as a new funding. However, it is to support an existing scholarship that memorial scholarship that we have in honor of Guillermo and Gloria Zuniga. We've had that fund for many years now. We received $40,000 from the South Texas Outreach Foundation, also a recurring fund. And this is to support nursing and health science program students for a total of scholarships of $460,400. And under other gifts, we do have some initiatives from the Friends for Life Alumni Association, a fundraising activity in the amount of $4,713.83. And this was a result of their floral bouquet sales. I don't know if you were familiar, but during commencement in May and in our last commencement, they had the sale. And so they came in at $4,713.83. So the total for our endowments, our scholarships, and other gifts from April through July is $495,113.83.
Mr. Delgado.
Chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos.
Dr. Ramirez,
Monday.
Friends for Life Alumni Association, is that the other association that we had? Was it changed, the name?
We're changing the name.
You're changing the
Yes.
name, okay. So shall the name stay the same for record for this particular moment? Because it hasn't been changed, right?
Actually, Diana, go ahead.
So right now, what we're doing is we're running the Friends for Life as just a club. We're already working on setting up bylaws and having it set up as an official alumni association. And I believe we will be looking at the alumni association that we had that currently I believe is on hold. Yeah, it's dormant to turn over those funds into this account. But we're working on getting it official, having boards so we can make it an official alumni.
But for the record, shouldn't it stay as the previous one?
Not if this is a club, no.
Okay, but it's not an association.
No, it's not. And that's,
But it will
for the
be.
record, it's not an association at this time.
Right.
We are working to have it become an association. We have not done any of the legal work, but we are working on that. We have to get the board members and get the bylaws in place. But we are having activities that are supporting the Alumni for Life.
So this one would be
Friends for
called
Life.
Friends for Life Club?
Right now.
Club, okay, so could we make that change?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, because if it's not an association, it's still not
Yet.
adopted, then it can't be called an association yet. Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
No.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is 9E, credit rating update. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez. It is my pleasure to announce that S&P Global Ratings raised its long-term rating on the college's combined fee revenue debt 3 notches from a rating of A to AA. At the same time, they have raised the long-term rating on the college's existing general obligation bond debt from a AA- to AA. The outlook on all of the ratings is stable. The upgrades are based in part to S&P's global not-for-profit education providers criteria, as well as their view on the college's consistently favorable operating margins and improving balance sheet. In addition to that, they also mention other factors for their decision on the credit rating upgrade. Those include the college's experienced management team, the college's large, stable enrollment base, healthy operations and good financial resources,
Nice way of saying.
as well as a sizable level of property tax support that the college has. Their rating reflects, in their opinion, the college's consistently positive full accrual of operations with no revenue concentration, as well as growing financial resources with cash and investments of more than 112 million. The stable outlook reflects their opinion that the college will continue to produce very healthy financial performance and manage capital needs without materially affecting its debt profile and financial resources. They also anticipate that the enrollment will likely remain stable over the outlook period.
Very good. Any questions?
Very good.
Mr.
That's as
Martinez,
good
do you
as
have any
exciting
questions?
as gonna
Got
get.
it.
No, ma'am, thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Delgado.
I just want to say thank you, of course, Dr. Ramirez, this is obviously a testament to you and the entire administration, faculty, staff, this is.
Yeah.
I'm just a nerd and he is excited. Obviously excited, it says that, right?
Turn on your
Turn
mic.
on your mic.
Say it again.
Say it again.
Replay.
I forgot what I said.
Replay.
But no, but
He's
thank you,
excited.
thank you, Cesar, thank you, Dr. Ramirez, for all your hard work and everybody's hard work on this. I know it was a long way coming, but it obviously, it's a testament to everything that y'all do on a daily basis. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. And then actually, this is work of a whole team from faculty, student services, support services to administration and the board. Again, decisions that are made here obviously are reflected on our financial performance. So.
Smile. Thank you.
Thank you.
Smile.
There it is.
Are you happy? I am.
The next item is 9F, Gateway Community Clinic request to upgrade building signage at South Campus Clinic. Mr. Cesar Vela.
Yes, good evening, board members. Again, Gateway Community Health Center has made a request to upgrade the signage at the Laredo College South Clinic. Included in your board packet, you received the rendering of what they're proposing. Essentially, what they are wanting to do is just remove the current lettering and repainting the lettering. Currently, the Gateway Community Health Center signage is currently black, and they're proposing to paint it salt and blue. And the Laredo College South wording is in gold. They're proposing to paint it in black. Again, we have reviewed it internally, and we don't feel that there's anything that will impact the building itself. Again, it's only just changing the color of the letters.
I never liked the black.
And they'll be paying for
Get
that.
rid of that.
Is that correct?
That is correct. And we did reach out to them to see if they could share the cost. We haven't received that information yet. But the cost will be covered by Gateway Community
On
Health.
on the bottom right-hand side, Albert. On the- Oh, no, go up to the right, go up to the right. Right, no, no,
Right,
no, no,
the
no,
other right.
Control shift.
it's all right, I think we got it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right there on the right. No, down, on the right side toolbar. There, down,
Down.
there,
down. Oh,
keep
but
going,
backwards. Again.
There it
Oh,
is.
Very nice.
get rid of that, there you go.
There we go. Very good.
Ta-da.
So that's a rendering of what they're proposing. Again, the Gateway Community Health Center sign, salt and blue. at Laredo College in black, and they do want to have a black outline on their logo.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Vela.
Thank you.
Next is 9G, appointment of acting dean of health sciences, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. As you know, selecting a Dean of Health Science is going to be a lengthy process, and it's still being advertised. And in the meantime, our programs need an acting dean. So with great honor and pleasure, I'm very happy to announce that the recommendation we're making from the Division of Academic Affairs, which has been approved by Dr. Minita Ramirez, is to appoint Dr. Esmeralda Vargas. And she's here, if she can stand next. She's shy and she'll hate me for this, but I think it's important to highlight why we're appointing her. She has over 19 years of health industry experience. She has 20 years in teaching and education, which have been here at the college. She is an alumni of Laredo College. She received her Associate of Applied Science and Physical Therapist Assistant program. She received her Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy at Texas Tech University Health Sciences. She has a Master of Science from the Texas Women's University and a Doctor of Physical Therapy from the College of St. Scholastica. Some of her work experience vary from Mercy Hospital, Laredo, well, back then, what was Mercy Hospital, Doctors Hospital, Regent Care, Laredo Specialty, to name a few. She's been an adjunct, and since 2008, she's been a full-time instructor. And with a dean experience, you need not just the work industry, but also the educational and most importantly, the accreditation experience, which we all know she has. So I'm very proud to announce our recommendation as acting dean, Dr. Esmeralda Vargas.
So good evening. For the record, Esmeralda Vargas, PTA Program Director. Good evening, Madam President, board members, colleagues. I just wanted to thank Dr. Tijerina and Dr. Ramirez for this opportunity. I've actually been in the profession for 34 years. I was 19 when I first came. So I've been here for 15 years. And during that time, I've had an opportunity to work with the Health Science Division program directors, with many of the faculty. And I'm honored to be able to continue to do that, to be able to continue to work on the mission of the Health Sciences Division, which is to prepare healthcare providers and work with our students to do that. And really in doing so, helping to meet the healthcare needs of this community, the surrounding area, and really anywhere that they want to end up going to practice. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity, and keep working.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Any comments?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Next item is 9H, United States Department of Education Title IV and Higher Education Act programs. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members. Recently, I received a letter from the U.S. Department of Education, Secretary of Education, approving us for Laredo College to participate in the Title IV programs, which you've heard a lot about tonight. And to offer not only Pell Grants, but this also makes us eligible to access our SACS accreditation, because without this formal approval, our SACS accreditation could be in jeopardy. It also allows us to continue to accredit all of our health science programs, and we're also eligible to apply for other government grants, whether they be from the U.S. Department of Agriculture or Department of Ed or the Justice Department. Any government grant would not be possible if we were not approved by the U.S. Department of Education to participate in Title IV. Now, one of the biggest programs being the biggest program of the federal government is the Title IV program. And so we're very proud to congratulate the financial aid department for their work and continuing to pass all of our federal audits. And I don't know that everyone knows this, but the only departments that get audited every single year, aside from Mr. Vela's office and the finance area, is the financial aid office.
Wow.
We get audited every single year, and so most people don't recognize that or don't know that. And so it is really very crucial that our data collection and our data reporting is up to par, because it will affect whether we do a return of Title IV, which means a student drops out early or a student doesn't complete, falls out of financial aid good graces. All of that has everything to do with whether or not we continue to be able to offer Title IV. And so I know that the department has done a great job in trying to manage and maintain the lines of communication open with all of the different departments. And so it is a reflection on everyone, but certainly their due diligence. And so thank you all very much. I did want to recognize that.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, the next item is executive session. So do I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the two items that we have?
So move.
So I
You
have a
gotta read 'em.
motion,
You got to read them.
You have to read them.
executive session 10A. Consultation with Laredo College attorney to discuss Laredo College faculty members' equal employment opportunity commission, EEOC complaint pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071 and 551.074. 10B is closed session discussion pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071 and 551.074 with Laredo College attorney concerning update on pending litigations filed against Laredo College. So I have a motion by Mr. Delgado. Have a second?
Not all at once, ladies.
Me.
Me.
Me. Second.
So I have a second by Mrs. Garcia, Ms. Vela, and Mrs. Ramos to go
You want-
into
you wanna do the
executive
second?
session.
Jump in here. Come on.
Come
on.
Why not?
Come on.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. At this time,
Will you be calling me on the phone?
Yes,
Madam
Judge.
Chair?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay.
The
Thank you.
time, the time is now 8:04, and the board will adjourn into executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agendas items 10A and 10B. Thank you.
Thank you.
It didn't take that long today. Yeah. My dogs are by themselves all day long.
Oh.
I know.
At least you didn't get up at 3.
It's 3 in the morning. Oh, it still does.
I think one of my veins popped. One of my veins. I don't know. I think stress. Yeah. No, it's just like little pink. No, I don't take it. But my watch tells me if I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
We're waiting. Pedro's still here to take. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Pedro. Happy birthday, Pedro. You what? What?
Pedro.
Los 21. Oh, I'm sorry. Nobody said.
So we're reconvened from closed session. The time is now 8:52 PM. And the board took no action in executive session. Will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. So the next item that we have is 11A, is Laredo College Faculty Members Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC complaint. No action was taken. 11B is update on pending litigations filed against Laredo College. No action was taken. Next item is number 12, President's Remarks. 12A is Campus Police Personnel and Travel Reports. Dr. Minita Ramirez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Simply stated for the travel report, we only have one pending travel coming up in September, and that's to the CCATT Annual Conference in Fort Worth, Texas. Some of the trustees will be attending with me, and so we've made final plans for that. On our monthly crime log, you're going to see we've again streamlined some of the way we present the information. It's in your book or your packet information. I'm happy to announce that we're a very safe campus, and calls for service have gone up. I think it's because we have more people on campus, and so it may be, can someone come open the classroom, from that all the way to I have a flat tire, can somebody help me? So a call for service could mean almost anything that is not a criminal activity.
Nice.
So we're excited, and as unless you all have any questions, Chief Hernandez is in the room.
Okay.
No, there he is.
Good evening, Chief. Does anyone have any questions for the chief?
Okay.
No.
Thank you all very much. And then just to give you a kind of a recap of what's been happening this year, you've heard a lot of what's been going on. This week is Welcome Week on both of our campuses. And we've had activities going on all week long to welcome our students back to our campuses. They made tie-dye t-shirts. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, we dismissed a little early due to the chubasco. But we complied with all of the requests from the city, from our chief emergency manager, Chief Hurd. We did attend the early morning meeting at the fire station. Dr. Ariasola, Chief Hernandez, and Cassandra from risk management, and myself, we were there for the quick update, and then they kept in touch with us throughout the day as things developed. We have done an assessment of damage for the campus. There is some minimal damage. But we are going to have to reconsider the windows at the South Campus and some of the windows here where we've had seepage of water. And the sealants on the glass crack because it's so hot. And then it gets cold and then it gets hot. And so it cracks and then it becomes an issue and water gets in. And so later I'm sure we'll have to come back and talk about how we're going to fix all that. We're still having some issues at the South Campus with the elevator tower and water actually seeping in at the South Campus. And so we're really gonna we're gonna recall that contractor to come back because it's under warranty. And so we're hoping to make sure that that gets appropriately fixed before the next storm. Today was kind of an exciting day on campus. It's really nice if you come by in the mornings. There are and midday and to early afternoon, there are lots of people on campus. Today we served hamburgers and hot dogs here at Fort McIntosh. I think we had some pictures, right, Mr. Chavez? And then at the South Campus, we also had we have some master, what do you call them? Grillers at the South Campus, and they were serving brisket tacos. So we've done, Sterniguez has had his little roamer out all week. And so we've had quite a line of people trying to get fed. And so things are going really, really well. The Kaizen Center, the food program is also going well. It's just been an outstanding week of events, and I do want to recognize our student life office for putting together all these events. And you know, it takes everybody. Everybody volunteered today. We had a lot of fun at both campuses. There was a lot going on. I was the master hamburger griller today. We cooked about 280 hamburgers and we cooked over 300 hot dogs. So that's me.
Yes.
But it was fun and it was great seeing the students and actually talking to them. It's amazing what they'll tell you while they're eating a burger. And so it's been a real positive experience for all of our students and I think even for our staff, it's been fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We are gonna provide all of our Board of Trustees with a, thank you, Mr. Chavez, with a photo ID, and Mr. Rivera is waiting outside to take your picture. We have our little camera back here. So it is his birthday and he's still here. And so, but to take your photo ID for your Laredo College ID. And so, no, sorry, ma'am, we won't load your ID card for lunch, but still, when you attend events and things, and if you want to wear them, I think it's really nice for people to recognize you wherever you are at. You don't have to wear them every day all the time, but certainly at our events, if you want to wear them, we'd like for you to have them. And so with that, everybody's pushing along quite nicely. I think things are really moving along. I had a really nice long conversation today with Mr. Zamora, our HVAC professor. He was out there with us and it was really nice to talk to him and all of the things that they're doing in some of our workforce programs. He was sharing some, just fun things with the students and the conversations he was having with students. And so it was nice to hear from him and several other faculty members that came out to support. So we're moving along.
Wonderful. Madam Chair. The chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos. Madam Chair, if I'm in order, can I use my picture from up there instead?
No, because we don't have it in the ID
not.
thing. We don't have it in the ID. It's a new system. And so, no. It's just a quick photo. It's an ID picture. It's not like a glamour shot.
Good night.
Monday.
no, just get it over. with.
Do we have to wear anything specific, like a scarf or something?
I got a bow tie. A green bow tie. A green bow tie.
Well, I got to see at the South Campus, they had over 150 kids come and get their food as well. Fred Solis was working hard there, grilling. So
master
thank you,
grillers.
everybody, for all your hard work. We do take note of it and we appreciate it. Thank you. So the next item, number 13, next meeting date is Thursday, September 28th, 2023, 6 p.m. Regular Board of Trustees meeting. And then we have Wednesday, October 18th, 2023 at 9 a.m. We have the PNC marker unveiling in front of our chapel. So please, board members, can you all make sure that you all attend? This is a very nice gift that we're getting from PNC.
Just to inform everybody, I may not make it on the 28th.
Yes, I know.
On the 28th, I will not either.
So
So
we're down
already
two.
Two down. Let's do. that.
Okay,
I'll try to be on the phone. As long as I don't mind
Maybe we.
the
do it
baby
before.
crying.
Maybe we do it the week before.
We could.
We
Although
could.
we're in Fort Worth the 14th and the 15th, but as soon as we come back.
The 21st or somewhere around there, right?
We'll look at it.
All right.
Okay. So
Thank
do
you
I
all.
have a motion to adjourn?
So
Yes. So I have a motion from Mr. Delgado and Mrs. Ramos. Do I have a second? Ms. Liendo and Mrs. Garcia, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Somebody go take a picture, please.
I know, I have your.